Guys got it? So that hard work on three, sprint to the next spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hard work.
Sprint to the next spot. Don't walk. Get there, get there, get there, get there.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie here with Phenom Hoops. I hope everybody's doing well. We're here with Patrick O'Brien. We're here with Jeff Bendel, and we're here with Rick Lewis. Guys, how's everybody doing?
Doing great
right now.
So we're coming to you here. This is kind of a new format where every week we update our Phenoms rankings. We do a public school ranking, a private school ranking, and then an overall, which we call our Sweet 16 ranking. We wanted to discuss a little bit our Sweet 16 ranking, just give you a brief overview of our thoughts and what went into the process, and try to keep everything transparent within our ranking process and everything. We're coming to you from the Zoom app. This is also a new thing to us too. We've done it previously, and we've had great excitement about it. So make sure that you comment on it. What do you think about it? What do you think about the new format and all that kind of stuff? Let us know your feedback. But here it is. It's basketball season, guys. The public school starts tonight. Private school's been playing for a couple of weeks now. We've had a few events. We've had a jamboree. Between the four of us, we've seen pretty much, the majority of teams within the state of North Carolina. So let's jump right into the Sweet 16. Rick, do you want to go down and list as to who we have in the rankings in the Sweet 16?
I'll go over the top five. Moravian Prep, Combine Academy, North Meck, and let me see who we have next here. Is it Farmville Central and Cannon?
Switched it. Cannon and Farmville.
Okay. That's what I have for the top five.
And that's a great top five. I don't think there's much discrepancy between the group of us. Jeff, do you want to jump in with Moravian Prep, what you've seen from them so far, and why that we give them the #1 ranking?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear they have the most talent. They have the best team right now, and they're beating teams by the most points. So, I mean, obviously Shaquille Moore committing to NC State, and they have Josh Hall committing to NC State. So that's two ACC guys that just have emerged in the last week. But, I mean, they have as much talent, if not the most, of any team in the state. And, I mean, I think it's pretty clear.
Patrick, what have you seen from Moravian so far? They've been to both of our events that we've had, the National Showcase. They've been to the Tip-Off Classic. As Jeff said, they've been railroading teams, overwhelming them. What have you seen from this Moravian team?
Well, they're taking everybody's best shot, and everybody is coming after them with the target on their back, and they're proving that they're fine with taking on all challenges there. Josh Hall is looking like a solidified 5-star, even like a boost in the rankings, I would say. Shaquille's looking fantastic, but everybody else is kind of buying into the system. And again, it's kind of interesting is that they still have some injuries that they've been facing early on. So they're only going to get better and get stronger if they can stay healthy. So they've proven themselves so far.
Rick, last week you spoke about how much you love their suffocating type of defense. What have you seen on the defensive end of the floor from this Moravian Prep that you think can sustain this type of ranking and this type of lofty goal throughout the year?
Well, the main thing is when your offense gets stagnant, you can always rely on your defense. And with Moravian Prep, you got two of the best on-ball defenders in the state of North Carolina, and Darius Davis and Shaquille Moore. And the good thing about Antonio Lowe, he mixes up the defense extremely well. He uses a diamond 1-2-1-1 full court press. He uses a 2-2-1 guard-to-guard matchup, and he traps in the half court. And in the half court, they really are suffocating because you got Shaquille Moore and Darius Davis putting a lot of pressure on the opposing guard. So when it all comes down to it, everybody's going to have an off night shooting the ball. But the one thing that you don't have an off night is playing intense, suffocating defense, which is what they do.
So next up, we have #2, Combine Academy. The new kids on the block. This is their first year having a high school program. They've had a post-grad program for the last couple of years. And they have come out making a bang. Patrick, they have also been at our previous 2 events and made huge waves.
Yeah.
What have you seen from this Combine team?
Well, they started off the season in fashion with the win against Oak Hill. They backed it up with impressive wins over at the National Showcase. They have some young guys. They're all buying in, though, with Jeff Dennis there. That's pretty much – that's how you have to sum it up there. They're working hard, but they're led by their leader and their head coach there. They're buying into what he's saying. They have some fantastic guards with Chris Robinson, Jalen Hood-Shafino. They have some young guys, Robert Dillingham and Mekhi Grant, that are buying to be able to showcase what they have. They have a lot of talent and rising talent there, and this is a program to really consider start watching here in a national scale, national level there.
Rick, I think one of the neat things about this combine team is they don't have a set go-to guy. One game, Chris Robinson goes for 25 or 30. One game, Jalen Hood-Schifino goes for 25 or 30. You have Robert Dillingham who can go get buckets. You have Ja'Cory Owens. What do you think that says about the depth of this team and the way that they play, that they exploit the matchups, that anybody on the floor can go off?
Well, I think the team basically takes on the personality of their head coach, which is Jeff McGinnis. And we go back when we did the interview with Steve Smith at Oak Hill, and he talked about Jeff McGinnis as a player, and he always mentioned Jeff McGinnis was the most competitive player that he's ever coached at Oak Hill. No one hated to lose more than Jeff McGinnis. I think the thing with Jeff has done, Coach McGinnis, he gets his guys to buy in. They take on his personality. They play hard. They never give up. And then, of course, he has a team that's very youthful. So when you have a team that young, different people will step up at different points in time. You know, the first couple games, Jalen Hood-Schifino probably wasn't up to the Jalen Hood-Schifino we were used to seeing. But at the National High School Showcase event, going up against ISA Academy, he looked phenomenal. And as Clark Francis said, he was probably the most impressive player at the entire event.
Without question. I think another thing too, Rick, as you alluded to, Jeff McGinnis, I think he's actually shown that he's a hell of a coach. He's doing great stuff, putting, you know, as you were saying about Lowe, he does a great job changing up defenses. He does a great job calling sets, and his players do a great job of executing these sets. Even despite their youth, they bought in fully and they execute what's put in place.
Well, that's true. Although the team takes on his personality, and he's a master motivator of the team, the thing that gets lost in the translation, Jeff McGinnis is a very good X's and O's coach. He runs extremely good sets. Even against Oak Hill, when they were down by 3, he ran a nice set for Chris Robinson to get open to hit the 3 to tie the game. But he's very underrated when it comes to that.
Without question. Jeff, I think an underrated player that nobody's talking about with this combine team is Jemiah Blakeney. His ability on defense and his ability to kind of set the tone on the defensive end of the floor for him and making shots. What have you seen with Jemiah, and who are some other players that you think with this combine team that really take them over the top?
Well, I mean, I think you and I kind of talked about it privately. You know, I think Jemiah Blakeney is a special type of defender. You know, he's versatile in such a unique sense, very, very different, but kind of affects the game in like a Marion Bodrick type of way. I think this team is incredibly good, and I think that, you know, Jeff McGinnis has proved himself. But, you know, when we did our fantasy draft for the 2020 class, we were going to lunch and talking about, you know, who we would take, and his name was firmly in the discussion of one of the top 2 or 3 coaches already that we were thinking about. But yeah, I think, you know, Ja'Cory Owens is taking a step up. I think he's been better this year than he was last year. Blakeney obviously has been great. They have a plethora of tough guards. It's and then I think it was Jalen Miller last week. Really well, and he's been there the whole time before McGinnis was even there.
Yeah, and I think today they might have the best resume, you know, 2 weeks into the season already, having beaten Oak Hill. They went to Quality Education and beat Quality Education, which is a huge win. They beat ISA Academy, who was a nationally ranked top 100 team in the country. Very impressive stuff coming out the gate for them. And obviously we have a huge, you know, Moravian Prep versus Combine Academy game looming this Friday, which is going to be incredibly interesting, which, you know, the winner of that game could feasibly have a resume for a top 25 type of ranking within the country. So that'll be very fun to watch. Moving on to number 3, we have North Meck, the public school. They started the season tonight. We've been fortunate enough to be able to go to the open gyms. They came to our jamboree, so we've seen them play. Jeff, you got to see him play a couple times last week at the jamboree. What have you seen from this North Meck team, and what makes them a top 5 team in the state?
Well, they're just simply loaded with talent as well. I think, you know, I said that about Moravian Prep. I think North Meck is kind of the public school version of them. I mean, Tristan Maxwell is a lethal, you know, bucket getter, gets it done on all levels. Also a really good on-ball defender. I think that often gets lost in translation. You know, a bunch of other guys. Jeremy Gregory, I know Rick's a huge fan. this team is well coached and they have depth. Guys like Tony Waters that don't get brought up in the initial discussion but play pivotal roles in this season, and this team, they're going to go 9-10 deep with legitimately good, scholarship level guys.
Absolutely. And Patrick, so this team is led. They have two bona fide bucket getters with Traden Williams and Tristan Maxwell. Then you have a low post presence with Chris Ford. You have a developing Jeremy Gregory who's going to do some good things for him. You have the Tony Waters, Shamon Artis, as Jeff, said, and a bench filled with players. You've been and watched them in the open gym, Patrick. What have you seen from this North Meck team, and what do you foresee in the future with this North Meck team?
Well, Rick and I, we were both sitting there baseline, and we were impressed with what they're going to get. They're going to get up and down. They're going to force the defense to react to their offense. To us, obviously, Tristan Maxwell, like Jeff said, trading and everything. You have scores that can score at all three levels, attacking the rim, mid-range, as well as step out for the three, multiple three-point shooters. They love to spread the ball, and that just provides more area for the big man, for like Chris Ford and Jeremy Gregory to do work, get on the offensive rebounds, and also on the defensive rebounds there. So they're going to push the tempo. They're going to score a lot of points this year. I mean, they have multiple people that can step up when it's called upon there. So it's not just like a one-man band or two duo right there. They have multiple guys that can step up on a given night and force the action.
Rick, this team's incredibly deep. You're very familiar with Cousin Louie on what he's got and everything. What's it like to have a bona fide star with Tristan Maxwell and then a surrounding cast like a Shamon Artis, like a Chris Ford, like a Traden Williams? What does that do for a team, especially in public school basketball in North Carolina?
Well, the thing that Tristan Maxwell brings to the table, he has the ability to seriously knock down 5, 6, 7 threes in a row in a given 5-minute period. He has that shooting ability, but he also has a lot of balance on that team. You have Shamon Artis, who's another three-point specialist. You have Traden Williams, who is really good at the mid-range game, attacking the rim. You bring in guys like Tony Waters, Jordan Crawford, who's another three-point shooter. Chris Ford, who is a multi-dimensional player, both on the offense and defensive end of the court. He can score from all three levels. And then you have the new base of the team, which is Jeremy Gregory, who provides an inside presence. And I think that's the difference this year in North Meck compared to other years, because they've never had a true low post presence. Now they have more of a balance between an inside and outside game, a lot of balance, a lot of weapons. They're going to be very difficult to contain in the half court. I would imagine going in against the game tonight against Independence is going to have to speed them up in the full court, create some turnovers with their full court press.
Yeah, and I think something, too, that's really cool with them is they can either play slow or fast. As you said, they can put Jeremy Gregory in and play in the half court, or they can have Chris Ford playing at the 5, and they can get up and down and press and play really fast, and they can kind of mold and morph to what they need to do. And then also kudos to Jeff, who back in September, so this has a chance to be a nationally top 50 team in the country. And I think that's, he said it kind of flustered at the time, but, it's coming to fruition currently. Moving on to Cannon next. They're the number 1 ranked team in our private school rankings. Cannon has come in and taken all comers. They go to our tip-off classic at Carmel. They play Carmel at Carmel, beat Carmel at Carmel. They play the Carmel, also 2-time defending state champion. Then they come to the National High School Showcase. They beat defending state champion Greenfield, and then they play Ravenscroft at Ravenscroft and beat Ravenscroft. So they have put together an unbelievable resume to this point. Rick, what have you seen from this Carmel school team, and what do you see from them moving forward?
Well, I don't think it's easy to go in and beat Carmel on the road. Also, really beating Greenfield on the road, although it's at Ravenscroft, and then they really demolished Ravenscroft in the final nightcap game. Cannon is predicated around their point guard, and Jaden Bradley is one of the best pure point guards in the country, probably that I've seen, regardless of class. He's special. He makes his teammates better. And you look at his scoring totals, he probably averaged in our events close to 22, 23 points a game. But when you watch him play, you don't realize he's scoring that many points. He's so unselfish, and he's very efficient. No more than, maybe 10, 12 shots a game. So he's very efficient in that regard, but he just makes his teammates better.
And so, Jeff, you've been on the Jaden Bradley train for a while, also with DJ Nix, Jarvis Moss. What are you seeing from this Cannon School team, and what do you see as to why they deserve the #1 private school ranking, top 5 overall in the state?
Well, I mean, I think it's on multiple levels. I think Rick said it best. This team is Jaden Bradley's team. I don't know that I've been necessarily as big on him as most people, but I'm definitely on board now. I think he's definitely special, as Rick kind of said, but it's just how effortless he makes the game look, how easy he makes it for everybody else. I mean, I know we talked about it in length, but Jarvis Moss, the guys that he plays with, DJ Nix, they benefit greatly from his presence. He is very unselfish. He does set the table extremely well for others, but it's almost like he's playing games with the opposing team, how easy he makes it look. And Rick even said, like, you don't even notice that he's scoring so much. You don't notice that he's doing everything outside of passing as much as he does, including how well he defends the ball.
And rebound.
Yeah, and rebound. Well, that was part of it. I mean, he's just an incredible talent. It's easy to see the path for him going forward. They have enough pieces, and this is without Christian Reeves even being on the floor to pretty much battle with anybody in the state, I think, right now.
Yeah, a more impressive stat, Jeff, is through 3 games, Jaden Bradley has like 18 assists to only 3 turnovers.
Right.
And that's another impressive assist to turnover ratio. He rarely turns it over, and when you're playing Cannon with the ball in his hands, the opposing team is not going to have the opportunity to create a lot of fast break transition points off the defense. He takes care of the ball extremely well, and like you said, he makes the game so easy for his teammates.
Patrick, Jeff brought up that they don't have Christian Reeves, their 7-foot sophomore prospect. What dynamic do you think he's going to bring to the team once he comes back from his fractured disc?
I mean, to add, it will make it easier, obviously, for players like Jaden Bradley. You get that big low post presence down there. Rebounding wise, it also allows watching DJ Nix. He gets spread the floor even more. He feels comfortable. He showed it at the Raiders Cross, stepping out, shooting a shot. That just creates more space for him when you have someone that size as well. But then, like I said, with Jaden Bradley, it just gives you that low post presence that if you need to go get a bucket down below and you have that advantage with his size, it makes it a lot easier and everything like that. Just give you another weapon on the floor.
And they've also had guys like Jalen Dibble, Pratian Hill, and guys like that step up as well with a plethora of talent within the roster. Do what, Jeff?
Elijah Ormiston.
Yeah, Elijah Ormiston, who's done great. He was homeschooled last year, transferred to school this year, and 6'7", 6'8". Just I think he had double-figure rebounds against.
He was a great energy piece. He knows his role. Same with Dibble.
And this is great. I mean, this team has a superstar in Bradley. They have a secondary role player in DJ Nix. They have a sweet shooter in Moss, and then a great core of surrounding pieces that, as you said, Jeff, know their role. It's going to be very interesting to see if this team goes through, and this could be a team who might not lose a game this year. They have a big one looming again this weekend, Greensboro Day at Greensboro Day. So that's going to be exciting to see. Next up, number 5, rounding out our top 5, Farmville Central, defending 2A state champion. They were, I believe, 32-0 last year. Didn't lose a game. Actually, their entire program didn't lose a game. JV, middle school, high school, nobody lost a game in the whole program. Patrick, what are you looking for from Farmville Central this year? To give them a top 5 preseason ranking in the state.
Well, I know you've seen them a lot more than I have and everything, but coming off a 32-0 season, they do lose a few key seniors from last year, but they also have some talent, a ton of talent actually right there. Led by Justin Wright, guard that can put up points, but also dish it as well. He's looking for a big year now that he has his decision behind him, going to NC Central. I think he's just focused beyond belief there to get it to continue this run that Farmville has. They have other ones, Smith, Short, Moy, and other company right there. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what they have and what they can continue to do after an impressive season there. Jamie, I know you've seen them a lot more and stuff like that. What have you seen from them?
And then Rick, so I know that you've been huge on Justin Wright for a while now, just screaming from the rafters about how good he is and all that kind of stuff. What kind of senior season do you expect the North Carolina Central commit to have?
I think he's going to play a lot above his commitment level. I think he's one of these guys, when you look at him, he's really toned down his body. He's probably lost, probably 10, 15 pounds. He's toned up. He's just a high IQ player that knows how to score. He's very crafty around the rim. He's not above the rim guard, but he uses his body quite effectively. I think he's going to be one of these guys that's going to probably end up averaging in the 20s and then dishing out 5 or 6 assists a game and also getting 5 to 6 rebounds a game.
Yeah, no doubt. Having watched him play the other day, it was just a clinic he put on with how he was able to score the ball. And just as you said, Rick, I mean, it was incredibly efficient basketball, either scoring, setting up, or whatever the case. He's all that serves the drink, high power, and it's a high-powered drink.
He has a great feel for the game, and that's just in his DNA. It just comes natural to him. He just knows how to score. Not on a Cam Thomas level, but he has that sort of character trait. He just has that ability to make difficult plays look easy.
No question. And they have a great supporting cast surrounding Justin Wright. It's not like he's alone. Jeff, Leonte Moye, Terquavion Smith, the NC State commit, Samaj Teal. What do these pieces surrounding Justin, what do they bring to the table?
I mean, they have a bevy of athletes. I think that's something Farmville Central is always going to have. But then the addition of, not the addition, but the dynamic that Terquavion Smith adds alongside Justin Wright really makes them a tough backcourt for any team in the state. I think you guys really summarized it best. Justin's feel and his ability to kind of balance, scoring and playmaking is what makes him so useful and, exceptional at the high school level. Both. I think Dyklavis Wilkins is a big loss for them, but I think, Moy and Teal can take up all the minutes that he was using.
Yeah, I kind of like the dynamic, within that. I think Samaj Teal is playing a bigger role than people really give him credit for. I think Leonte Moray, the 6'7" guy, is going to kind of be in the middle, playing incredibly athletically. And then you got Justin and Terquavion. Terquavion is committed to NC State. And I am looking for their freshman's name. They have a freshman, a 6'4", 6'5" freshman, who is absolutely somebody to watch them for.
Josh.
Do what?
Josh Short.
There you go, Josh Short. He played great minutes for them in the scrimmage the other day. He's 6'4", 6'5" freshman, above the rim, made shots and everything. He's probably going to be the next up within the system once his current group passes through. But there's somebody to watch moving forward. It's going to be interesting with the public schools between Millbrook, North Meck, and Farmville Central as to who, as they lobby for top ranking and everything within the state. Patrick, as we wind down here. How about you, Jeff?
Sorry. I lost you.
Go ahead, Pat.
What was the question there? Sorry, I lost y'all there.
Go ahead, Jeff.
For me, I say Freedom Christian. All right.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So I would say Freedom Christian. They just have, like a lot of these teams, a lot of talent and a lot of depth. Emmerich Toussaint is obviously a big piece for them, and size matters in high school, but they also have plenty of guard play, and Jaden Doyle is a guy that, we've been screaming about before the season even started, that he's going to be one of the breakout players in North Carolina, and I still stand firmly behind that. And I think they have enough guys that are outside of those two that are good enough. There was the 6'6", 6'7", 2022 shooter. Who is that, Jamie? What was his name? For Freedom. Anyway, and then the point guard is also another college-level guy. They have enough talent on this team that I think that they could really upset a lot of teams. Plus, they've already started out 5-0.
Yeah. Daniil's like 6'8", and the point guard we're talking about his name is Bosco Mikhailov. So they have a ton of talent. Rick, who's a team that we don't have currently ranked in the top 5 to watch out for, or a team that you might think could creep in?
Not a team that I've seen, but I heard a lot about Millbrook. You've mentioned them, but I haven't seen them, so you could better, speak about them. Of course, we have to take into the consideration Greensboro Day is probably going to end up being there at the end of the year. They got upset at home by Durham Academy, so you have to put Durham Academy up there. They're 4-0, I believe, or 5-0. Going on the road at Greensboro Day, beat them the way they did. Proofs in the pudding. I think they're very well coached. I do like the point guard, Nick Graves. Of course, you have MJ Rice, and Cole Sinclair is also a very good perimeter shooter. So they have a nice trio right there. So, I think, in my opinion, they could be there. And another team to watch out for would be Carmel Christian. I think Carmel Christian lost 5 players. Joe Badgett brought a nice group in. And the surprise player so far this year for them has been the 6'7", 6'8", Ben Burnham, who we're familiar with through, travel ball. The game he had against Cannon, where he had 31 points, 20 rebounds, 6 blocks, and he's been playing phenomenal since then. If he continues that pace with Justin Taylor and the likes that they have, they could be a team that sneaks up there as well.
Patrick, who's a team for you that you think should be in this top 5, might have the resume to top 5, or a team to even watch out for to be crack the top 5?
Let's see. I was looking at the list here.
Okay, for me, Greensboro Day is the team for me. I think that, just looking at the past record of what Greensboro Day has, they're the 3-time defending state champions. Last year, even, everybody thought the wheels were falling off when they lost to Piedmont Classical around the same time. And then even more so, they had 4 losses last year before December even ended. They come back through. They go on a tear the new season and end up winning the state championship again, going away. And I think that's kind of what Greensboro Day does. Early losses shouldn't alarm people because it's been tradition of them as they kind of get things going. But at the end of the year, I feel like Greensboro Day is going to be there. So, early losses, they don't really shake it up. Last year they caught me. I was very adamant that Greensboro Day was not who the Greensboro Day of past after the Piedmont loss and then the 3 other losses they had in December. And then they proved me wrong. So I have stepped off that train and bought in on what GDS is selling there. I think they're they're going to be cracking that area coming soon. Patrick, are you with us now?
Yeah. I was gonna say Greensboro Day was gonna be mine there, but Concord First Assembly behind them. They played well. They have all the talent. They have experience as well. You can see them as a top 5 ranking as well at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly on Concord First Assembly. I mean, I think they started the year off our number 1 ranking in the thing, and they played Moravian Prep to the very end of the game. Ended up about 12 at the end, but they were within 1 possession with less than 3 minutes to go in that game.
Yeah.
And they've won all their other games. I think they're 4-1 now. Even beating a very good Heights team, who we had ranked in the top 10 in the state this past week. So I agree with Concord First Assembly. Rick, that was a great call on Millbrook too. And Jeff, I like yours as well. Guys, anything else that y'all can think of?
I'm just excited for all the basketball to start now.
No, absolutely. And there's going to be a very good test of these rankings coming up this weekend. Phenom's Gate City Classic at Greensboro Day School is going to be this weekend. They're going to have Moravian Prep versus Combine. The number 1 versus the number 2 team in the state are playing on Friday night. And then just before that game is going to be Greensboro Day and Cannon, which are also 2 of the top 10 teams in the state. So there's going to be some great matchups there. Make sure you check it out. Also, guys, like or subscribe to our YouTube page here, Phenom Hoop Report YouTube page, PhenomHoopReport.com. All the schedules for the upcoming Gate City Classic and our future events are on there. Make sure you check it out, PhenomHoopReport.com. On Instagram and Twitter, or Phenom_hoops. For founder Rick Lewis, for director of player analysis Jeff Bendel, for director of operations Patrick O'Brien, I'm Jamie Shaw. Thank you guys very much.
You guys got it? All right, hard work on 3, sprint to the next spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Sprint to the next spot. Don't walk. Get there.